It's a high caliber cast, and the stories in this. Tell us about the premise of this film, because it's
Yeah.
sort of, and I have not seen the film yet, although I've watched the trailer a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see it, but it's, from what I get, it's vignettes of a peek into different people's lives,
Yeah.
the different families' lives, and how faith impacts each of them and the struggles that they have in their own lives. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, it's really about 12 different people, right, and the brokenness that they're in and they've gone through, and then how God kind of intertwines their lives into this beautiful tapestry.
Right. And it seems as though it focuses on some of the big things that maybe non-believers or people who are struggling to come to terms in faith, struggling to come to faith, maybe things that they would have questions about. There was a C.S. Lewis, The Problem of Pain kind of thing mentioned in there, where the woman's like, well, why did God take, why did God take my child? Yeah, really hard questions.
Yeah, I mean, after God's Not Dead,
Which
last year.
You had a major part in, and you've had a major, I think, in every Christian film that I've ever seen. I think you've been in every single one of them.
Our company is called PureFlix.
Right.
We've been around for 9 years and have released a lot of films and made a lot of films. But God's Not Dead, everybody was saying, what are you going to do next? It was the #1 independent movie of the year last year. It was one of the highest grossing Christian movies of all time. But for us, it was God's Not Dead kind of established the existence of who God is.
Right.
And what's that next step is about the cross of Christ and the relevancy of it in today's society, and how does it relate to us, to you and me, and the world. And so, but it relates to people through brokenness.
Right.
And so it was
The problem of
finding
pain.
these different, these different
Is that why, do you think,
pains.
that I've noticed that Christian films are doing incredibly well. Christian books are doing incredibly well in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
To what do you attribute that?
I think it's a couple different things. On the Christian movies have been around a long time, and not every Christian movie
But
does
they seem to be more
good.
mainstreamy now.
Yeah, they are. I think just because the quality is getting better, the characters, we really try to make them real,
Really
and organic,
dynamic
and
characters.
developed, and people want to know. People have spiritual, questions, and we're trying to tackle those really hard questions. And so ultimately people have that hunger inside to know, is there more, especially, there's so much pain in this world, there's so much pain in America.
Right.
And people want to know, is there more to life than just right where I'm sitting?
Right.
And there is.
And
that's what these films show, and hopefully they encourage.
And it shows the realness of faith, which is one of the things that I have to say that I appreciate about the films that you do, is it shows the realness of faith. I mean, you're not showcasing, well, these are perfect characters and they're sitting in their perfect church and they have their perfect faith. It shows that, you continually work to walk with Christ, and you continually grow in your faith. And it's through that adversity, that's how you're molded. And these films, I think, really showcase that. And perhaps maybe that's why that they're resonating with so many people.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they relate, everybody can relate to them.
Right.
And even like in Do You Believe, there's 12 different storylines, I mean, of all different, on all different issues along the way.
Right.
And it's not a depressing movie. That's the other thing, is it's an inspiring movie.
Right.
People went back and, God's Not Dead. I have people that have told me that they went 18 times was the record. That's the most that and why would you go back to see a movie that much, is because it's an inspiring thing for your spirit, for your inside. And Hollywood movies, so often, you see it once and it's,
and that's it.
A lot of explosions and everything, but at the end, does it stick with you going into into the next day and the next week and the next month?